Hi, this is Paul. Welcome on the 17th video tutorial. If this is your first time here, please subscribe to my channel right now. Today I will teach you how to use your gene in a multiple way. There are two good reasons why to do it. The first one is time. You can save a lot of time. Imagine that you are running one gene for 5 days, and now you can imagine that you can run 10 genes for 5 days as well. So it's like to run one gene for 50 days and you are saving 45 days, and this is significant amount of saved time. The second good reason is that you are using full power of your computer and processor unit, and there are three ways how to use it. The first one that is you can run many different lotteries in the same time, like Powerball, Mega Millions, Eurojackpot, big lotteries and many more. Or you can run just one lottery with different settings and parameters, having different history, the number of previous draws, the filter parameters and other variable parameters. And finally, you can run lotteries with more than 2 drawing machines. You can, for example, for pick 3 you should run 2 genes where the first is simulating the draw 1 and 2 and the second is simulating the draw number 3, or for cash 4 where the first is simulating draw 1 and 2 and the second is simulating draw number 3 and 4. And finally you can see on the screen the 3 genes for pick 5 where the first is for draw 1 and 2, second is for draw 3 and 4, and the final third one is for draw 5. The amount of genes you can run on your computer depends on the size of your operational memory, and today I will demonstrate how to run 10 genes at once, step by step, that you can do it by yourself. And I will show all 3 scenarios. It means different lotteries at the same time, the same lotteries with the same, or with not same but with this different settings and parameters, and finally lotteries with more than 2 drawing machines. And my configuration of my computer is following. So I have the Windows 7 using the processor Intel Core i7, very powerful with 8 cores, and having the 64-bit operating system architecture and having 16 gigabytes of operational memory RAM. So this is my configuration, and before I will start, I will also monitor the whole process to see what is the usage of the CPU, as we have it right now 16%, and the usage of the operational memory that we have now 39%, and you see we have the 16 gigabytes right here. I will also see the monitoring right here where we have these 8 cores of CPU, that we can see it right here in more detail, and there is the usage of the memory that we have used about more than 6 megabytes, and there is the memory we will use for our gene as well. The network is occupied as well a lot because now it's live streaming and the conditions are now very tough to run 10 genes at once. So I hope everything will run according to my plan and I'll be able to finish to run 10 genes at once. So let's go start it, and we go ahead right now. So we go to the gene 2.0 folder which we created during the first quick start tutorial, and here we make 10 copies of activated original. So I just make the copy right here, or Ctrl C, and then just clicking Ctrl V, or you can do it another way by paste. Yeah. So now we have 10 copies, and the second part what I have to do is that I will rename all these copies to desired lottery. So it takes some time, and the first will be, let's mark it, the first will be power ball. The second, make Mega Millions. The third one will be Super Lotto Plus. So there are 3 different lotteries we will run in the same time. Then I will run one lottery, the same lottery but with different parameters and settings, and it will be Fantasy 5, and let's say parameters A, and I will rename it that this is for us the 4th lottery. Then we make 5th lottery, that will be again Fantasy 5 with B setup, and 6th lottery will be Fantasy 5 with C setup. Then the 7th lottery will be pick 3 and draw 1 and 2. So there are the lotteries with more than 2 drawing machines, and that will be pick 3 with draw number 3. Then 9th lottery will be cash 4 with draw number 2, 1 and 2, and I need to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I will make another copy, and it will be the 10th one. That will be cash 4 with draw 3 and 4. So I hope I will not make any mistakes. So we have now 10 genes with different lotteries. The 3 first ones are the different lotteries. The other 3 are the same lottery with different settings and parameters, and the last 4 are 2 lotteries with more than 2 drawing machines. The first is with 3 drawing machines, and the second is the with 4 drawing machines, pick 3 and cash 4. So we made the copies, we rename to not mismatch that, and the other step what you have to do is to run simply the program Microsoft Excel, just directly the icon. So you cannot open now these genes right here, because we need to run them everyone in different, completely different window to be able to run them separately. So now what I will do, I will 10 times open the Microsoft Excel. I am using the 2010. Third, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have 10 Excels open, and the next step is that I have to insert each gene into individual Excel program. So I will start that I will always click, for example, this first one, that's like a book one, And now I will insert the first lottery here, putting password, and it's opened. And the book one is here, and I will close the book one. So always when you insert it, close the extra window, because it can make some mismatch then, and that you can be lost during inserting these genes inside. So I will close it, then I click book number 2 and insert the second gene. And that I will repeat 10 times. So the book 2 I will close, and let's insert book 3. Let's say this is the most difficult part before running the genes, not to make any mistake. Closing book 3, opening book 4, closing book 4, opening book 5, opening book 6, now closing book 6, opening book 7, closing book 7, book 8, so it's good to have really the files named in the correct way and to have everything organized, that you will not lose in the amount of genes. So I close the book 8 and highlighting book 9, inserting the 9th gene, closing book 9, and finally inserting the last gene, number 10, I don't know why the book is then separately empty, but it happens like that, so it's always really important to close it then, the book 10. So at this moment I opened all 10 books, and they are from here to here, and we opened separately 10 genes. And before we run it, we have to make the settings at first for all these genes, because when you run one, then it's very hard to make the settings for others, as the processor and memory is really occupied then, and it will take more time. So the first, now this other step is, the next step is to make the settings for each lottery. So I hope it's ordered, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's fine, that's great, that's what we need. So I can select the number 1 and we have Powerball. So what we will start, we say the activation. I will try to make it really quick. Let's say we keep the skin settings, so select the Powerball, then just insert, as we know, row number 272, number of previous row. I will keep it in a small value, just to be really quick. Recuperation 4, number of results, let's say 3. So that's the first setting we prepared. Now what I can already do, I will try to start it, the primary setting, and in the meantime I will do the setting for the second lottery, which is the Mega Millions. So I can do it in this way. Mega Millions, we have again number of, we just put 3, can put 1. So we click the settings right here and we can start to prepare the third lottery. This is the Super Auto Plus. So I'm just placing really quickly the parameters I need to place without much thinking right now, just to demonstrate. Now we will do the same lottery with different settings and parameters. So you can do following thing. We will always select the Fantasy 5. These parameters we keep the same. Now number of previous draws can be just 1 seed. Recuperation, put 3. Number of results 3. And that's the first configuration for Fantasy 5. We now make the second configuration for Fantasy 5. So that's F5B. Select again the same lottery. We can make the mode B now. This we can keep same. Because really it's up to you what different parameters you will choose. I can put just 1 previous draw, 1 future lot. You can have different seeds. Occupation we put 2. Number of results can be also different. So that's the second scenario for Fantasy 5. And there is the third scenario for Fantasy 5. Also, to distinguish between these scenarios, we can use a different skin as well, that you can recognize what scenarios you have, but you have always here the name of the file, so it's really visible and easy to recognize what gene you are using. Here we can have different number of previous draws, different seeds, different number of results. And now we are going to make lotteries with more than 2 drawing machines. So we are starting with P3. Please now pay attention how to do the lotteries with more than 2 drawings. I already made the presets for these lotteries. So let's start with pick 3. So in the first gene we select the pick 3 and draw 1 and 2. So we are using 2 draws. These 2 draws here. And we put again there the numbers, number of previous draws, we just put 3 future lots, and these parameters we would like to have actually same except seeds. It's recommended to have different seeds. Operation is 5, number of results 3. It's also to have it's good to have the same number of results then. And swaps. And the third draw for pick 3, we'll do it in a way that I select the pick 3, draw 3. You can see we have only 1 draw. The number of previous draw we just can look is 3, 2 and 5, 3 is this one. So 3, 2, 4, 2. These we keep the same, but the seed should be, or it's better to have it different. And we fill in only seed for the first draw. The second seed and swipe is not needed here. We start the setting. Now the last lottery is cash 4. Again, we have press a cash 4, draw 1 and 2. Maybe you can make it shorter now, just 1 or 0. Just 2, number of results 3. Just cash 4, draw number. The last one is cash 4, draw number 3 and 4. So we select here cash 4, draw number 3 and 4. We have 2 draws. Just checking what we have for it's a little bit changed here. I need to find cash 4. We have 2, 0 and 2 and 3. 2, 0 and 2 and 3. We use different seeds, and as we have 2 draws, we should fill in both seeds and swaps. So the primary and secondary settings, or let's say the primary, is ready, and we'll wait for the last gene. The interface is printed. So all is printed, and now we will do the secondary settings. It's about to fill in the input box and the filter, and then I have to do it for all the genes and for all lotteries, and after that I will start all these lotteries. So let's start. We can put here filter, for example 1. I will make it week today, and just filling numbers. I will do it just by guessing, not real numbers, to save the time. It's just for demonstration purposes, so they do not correspond to real thing. Maybe I can make it a little bit more difficult right here. So we have the secondary setting for first lottery, then we make secondary setting for the second lottery, Mega Millions, and here's the second lottery. Then we have the Super Lotto Plus. We fill in the numbers. There's the third lottery, and now we fill the Fantasy 5. In this case, the input numbers will be the same. So what I can do to make it a little bit quicker, I will, oh no, sorry, I did a different history, so I will copy only this here. can make some different filter setting as well. So if we look here, we have different parameters, different history, and all is prepared in the secondary setting for free scenarios for Fantasy 5. And getting almost to the end. So at first I will fill in I have to find it, and I hope I will find. So pick 3, draw 1 and 2. In these lotteries, the number 10 is equal to number 0 as explained before in the Gene software features live stream. So I can put here 10, 2, 3, and the second draw can have again 10, 10, 1. That is the first and second draw existing historic numbers. Then I go to pick 3, draw 3, and there are numbers like this. In the last lottery, cash 4, draw 1 and 2. Draw 1 and 2 for cash 4, and finally draw 3 and 4 for cash 4. So we can set up also the gate like this, but in this case do it in the same way, that you have the same conditions for draw 1, 2 and draw 3 and 4. Also the number of previous draws is the same and the number of results is the same. This keep it the same, that you can harvest the results accordingly and they match together. So we are ready. We did the primary and secondary setting, and now it's time to run all the genes at once for now. Before I do it, I will check again the memory and the processor unit. So before we had approximately 5 or 6 megabytes, now we are using 7 megabytes. So even we are using 10 genes on my computer, we haven't took too much of operational memory. So in fact you can run even more genes at once, but it's then up to you, or if it's reasonable to really run many of them. So let's look for the network. As the streaming is running, it's really a lot of stream is there. The function of disk is like here, memory, and the CPU, we have it like that. Now we are using around 20% of this. So that's the situation before I start all the genes at once, and then we will check it after. So I will start from the first one, the second one, step by step, all these. So all secondary setting is good. I haven't done any mistake. But here, the seed is not needed, but we should fill it in. So So we can check it. Now all genes are running. So you have the waves over there. So it's running. We will check the processor. Processor is running now for 100%, so we are really using the full power of the computer. The other step is to switch off the online monitoring to make it really quick, so I will switch it off, and then we will look for the speed we can reach when we are running 10 genes at once. So it's running in a fast way, and we can check the speed at this moment. I have to activate the monitoring. Times. It's just routine work. So let's see, now it's about 2000 cycles per second. It's not visible yet. So it looks that the processor is distributing its power between each gene. Now I'm really interested what the speed will be for all the genes, but for that case, as I have shown in the speed boost tutorial, it's really good to just switch to node step. So as I said before, I don't know why, but it's even quicker. So that's when you want to leave your computer, leave it in this state. We have to also consider that the live streaming is running as well, so it's eating some power from the processor unit as well. So now it increased to 5000 cycles per second. Here we have we should little bit wait. Other recommendation is when you want to open another new Excel or to do some operation in Excel, it's always recommended to at least to end, but at least to pause the gene. And I mean not only one gene but all genes, to pause it, do your operation and then to start them again, because if you will not do it, you can stuck and all your activities in your computer will be really slow and you will have to wait when the screen is refreshed and so on. So please keep it in mind, and it like that. So here we have 4,000 cycles. Now it's running. Here is also 4,000 cycles. 3,000, 3,000. So let's say the maximum speed I was able to reach today in all 10 genes is 4,000 cycles in average per each gene, which is also really good, and I don't know what speed can be when this will be without the live streaming. Let's again check the processor is 99%, and we see that all the processors are really fully used, 100% all of them. So I am using the whole power of the computer, and this is great. And as I said, you can save a lot of time. Instead of 50 days with one gene, you will save 40. You can run it for 5 days, so 45 days will be saved. Let's check the second. So the average is really today about the 4,000 cycles per second. We can look finally before I end today's event for some results. So we got result here. This is this way with 38% for Powerball, and we got 38% for Mega Millions, 39% for Super Lotto Plus, and so on. We have also for the Fantasy 5 scenario A, B. Yes, there is only one draw, it's not visible, but we can see that the result we got 80%, as 1 point is not represented like a wave. But here is the best result with 80%, so we matched 4 numbers here. This is the scenario B. Then scenario C, we have 60% result, and pick lotteries. I just will show you how to take the result, as there is a draw number 3. So for draw number 3 we take number 2, and then we should match it with draw number 1 and 2, and this is 4, 2. So this will be 4, 2 and 4, 2 and 2. That will be numbers that you should put on the ticket. And finally, let's look for cash for draw number 1 and 2. The best number we have 7, 1, and then we match it together with numbers 7, 1 and 6, 4. So 7, 1, 6, 4 will be the number configuration for the cash for ticket. Yeah, and I hope that's all I wanted to show today, and I am at the end, and thank you for watching and your attention. If you missed something, just replay it. If you are new here, please subscribe to my channel right now. Provide your feedback, comments, and I'll be glad for every like I will get from you. Join us on the Facebook page and group, follow the links in the description, and see you next time on the 18th video tutorial, where I will talk only about the monitor section. So stay tuned and have a good time.